Welcome back to live streaming on Facebook of the 2016 Food Tank Summit in Chicago. We're at the Bleacher Center. There's a lot of stuff going on here. We got 200 people here in various rooms and having seminars and discussions. We're here in this little room doing our live Facebook interviews, quick hits, but you can go to foodtank.com and see more extended video of the panel discussions if you want to do that. Later in the day, there's a reception at Italy. In fact, folks could probably still come by if you're interested and you're watching this in the Chicago area. That's 43 East Ohio Street in Chicago at 6 p.m. And then there's a dinner, but that's sold out. This is sold out. I mean, it's been a very popular conference, if you want to call it a conference. It's called the Summit. I also want to remind people that next year there are more coming up. If you didn't get a chance to be in Chicago, you can go to D.C. or Los Angeles. Boston is going to have a summit. And we also want to thank Organic Valley for sponsoring the live streaming here on Facebook. And we hope a lot of you are enjoying it. Use the hashtag FoodTank. Send us your questions. Send us your comments. What have I missed? You can go to various Facebook sites. Go to Food Tank on Facebook. Go to Danny Nierenberg to see some of this live streaming, or my Facebook page, The Mike Novak Show. You can also go to Natural Awakenings Chicago. Peggy Malecki sitting out there in the darkness, just working the social. Yes,
there she is. Yes, I can see her there. Yes,
there she is. She's waving. She's way back there. And in the room right now is my Facebook buddy, Roger Thurow.
Exactly. How are you?
All right. It's good to see you in person.
Absolutely, yeah.
We talked on Sunday on my radio show, The Mike Novak Show. You go to mikenovak.net for that. And Roger is with the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. You have a much longer title, which is?
It's a senior fellow for, global agriculture policy, I believe. I just basically refer to myself as a jolly good fellow. How's that?
You know what? I feel so much better because right. I had a hard time keeping up with that.
Right. And and I lose track too. I'm just, I'm a senior, I'm a jolly good fellow. Is that as
I know.
Senior fellow?
That's pretty funny. You're also a former journalist.
I am, yeah. So I was at the Wall Street Journal for 30 years.
Yeah.
20 as a foreign correspondent, which is what got me into all this reporting on food, agriculture, food security, nutrition, basically under the bigger umbrella theme of hunger in the 21st century and the shame and stupidity and obscenity that we brought hunger with us into the 21st century, into this grand new millennium of ours, with all the scientific advancement in technology that we have and all the communications that we have literally at our fingertips. And we brought this medieval suffering of hunger and malnutrition and childhood stunting with us.
Wow, scathing indictment of humanity there. I mean,
what's wrong with us?
Yeah,
basically.
Why haven't we fixed this? Why,
right.
As you say, in the 21st century, why haven't we fixed it?
Right.
And you had 30 years to prepare because I imagine when you were on assignment, you saw all kinds of things that might not have related to the job at hand, but that you probably stored away for later use, and now at the Chicago Council on Global Affairs, you're able to put to good use.
Yep, absolutely. And I figure that all my time of foreign corresponding and domestic reporting and everything that I was doing as a reporter brought me to the stage of now writing these books, which I'm able to do at the council. It's kind of one of the things I do as a senior fellow or a jolly good fellow, that I can write. I can write these books. So it's 3 books now, and I consider them that they're my real Hunger Games trilogy. Mm-hmm. It's hunger, as we're talking about hunger in the 21st century. It's not in some dystopian society. This is today. And this is what's going on, and the more I can do, and so my to write about this or raise the clamor, and the mantra that I've developed as a journalist over time, and particularly writing the books, is to outrage and inspire. That we want to outrage readers by look at the outrage of hunger in the 21st century, but then the individual outrages that I think the cruelest irony in the world is that the world's hungriest people are farmers. And smallholder farmers in the developing world.
We talked about that earlier. One of your colleagues at the council talked about that earlier. And
right.
It doesn't seem to make any sense.
No, it's just years of negligence, of I guess, ignorance of the problem. Look, the smallholder farmers, particularly in Africa, elsewhere in the developing world, and farmers like with 2 acres, 1 acre, half an acre, they rise every morning to feed their families and to grow food, but most often they can't, so they plunge into this period of the hunger season. And it's this incomprehensible nature then that it's through negligence that the rich world governments, their own governments, the development community, the private sector, everybody looked at these smallholder farmers as too small, too insignificant, too poor. Who cares about them? Mm-hmm. But now we're seeing, no, we're all part of this great global food system, and if the demands on the food system are to, grow more food, grow more nutritious food, to feed, to nourish this ever-increasing population, this ever more prosperous population. So as more people around the world, thankfully, blessedly, move into the middle class, their diets are changing, their demands on the food system are changing, and on the food chain.
But they're not always changing in a good way. As you mentioned on my show on Sunday, you talked about the 800 million people who are malnourished, but then the 2 billion people who are obese, right, which is a different kind of malnourishment.
Right. It's so. I mean, if you look at the planet, more than half the people on the planet are malnourished in some way. They're either like chronically hungry, so like the 800 million or so, which is again this shameful and absurd fact of our world, and sad. And then another 2 billion that would be micronutrient deficient. So they're not getting into food. They may be having kind of enough food for the calories for the day, but they're not. It's not the food containing the proper minerals and vitamins that you need for a healthy life, particularly for the children. And then there's another 2 billion that are overweight and obese. So you add all that up, and it's more than half our population on our planet are malnourished. And it's like, again, kind of what are we doing to ourselves, and what's wrong with us?
And here you are. I'm going to get to this question in a second. We just got on Facebook, but I'm looking at you. You're an author. You're a journalist. You're a guy in a suit and a tie, and you got giraffes on your tie, right, and you have this moral outrage. And I imagine that often you get in a room. Are you the loose cannon in the room? Are you the guy that's throwing the ashtray? Well, we don't have ashtrays anymore, but the glass of water against the wall?
Yeah, I try to be, and yeah, to kind of, in the writing and then I guess in my speaking, to kind of grab people figuratively, at least by the collar. And it's like, well, what are we doing? And let's look at at kind of the world that we have. And kind of this, and as I was saying about the smallholder farmers and this cruel irony that they're the hungriest in the world, look, the more that they succeed, the more that we all succeed. So by neglecting them for all these years, it was like, well, what are we doing? And now then, also this then neglect for decades of nutrition. That it was like agriculture, no, we produce food. We're interested in ever increasing harvest and yields and increasing the income of farmers. Okay, that's a good thing. But then what about the nutritional value of that food? And we think about the consumers and the eaters of the world, kind of, at the end of the
eaters have
process.
A number about 7 billion. Right?
Exactly. So that's everybody.
Yeah.
And we haven't focused on the nutritional value of that food, which leaves us in this state of this kind of this growing malnutrition, of all sorts of malnutrition in our world.
I don't know if you're going to be able to answer this, but let me very quickly say question came in from Chris. Are there national, state, or local government incentives to selling excess home garden organic produce in markets or online?
I mean, I think there should be, particularly with the nutritional value of, anything that's kind of promoting, the consumption and the sale and the consumption of fruits, of vegetables, of the more highly nutritious food, of the proteins that we need. I think that's a good thing, and particularly say in the for moms and pregnant moms and children when they first start consuming solid foods. As I write about in the First 1,000 Days book,
which we are going to hawk here mercilessly.
Please do. Thank you.
Live on Facebook. Is this your latest book?
It is. That's the newest one, right?
Okay.
Came out in May.
Have you got a good shot of that there? There we go. The First 1,000 Days. What's this about?
So the first 1,000 days are the time from when a mother becomes pregnant, and the second birthday of the child. And what I write about this and hope to capture in the book in a very narrative style, I hope, is the great value and importance of nutrition in that time. So what I do is I follow moms and their children through the 1,000 days in India, Uganda, Guatemala, and Chicago. And Chicago, basically, to make the point that, look, this isn't an issue and a problem that's just over there somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's also really critical in our own society. So Chicago kind of representative of kind of every place in the United States and in kind of the rich world, part that the nutrition, particularly for, the moms, during their pregnancies, the breastfeeding, when the children start eating solid foods, these 1,000 days are the most important time of individual human development, physically, cognitively, so the brain growth and development, building up a strong immune system, and by extension, the most important time in the healthy, secure, stable, prosperous development of our families, our communities, our societies, and the world as a whole. So this period, these first 1,000 days and nutrition and everything that supports nutrition is just so critical to all of us in the world.
We have to get to them quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, to get that foundation. Well, I'm going to ask you to sign this for
absolutely.
me. Thank you so much. And while you're doing that, I will remind people that that's Roger Thurow from the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. He's part of the 2016 Chicago Food Tank Summit.
I'm going to use my pen.
Oh, fine. If that's
blue.
A better one, go for it.
No, this one is stuttering.
It's not. Oh, okay. Throw that pen out.
We'll do a 2-mic, right?
We'll recycle it. We'll find a way to recycle it.
Right.
That's what we're all about here today. Don't forget #FoodTank. Don't forget to continue to watch us on live streaming. You can go to foodtank.com and catch some of the panels. And that's what Roger is all about, and there's more, and this is going on for the rest of the day. We will continue to have live Facebook streams with the various people on the panels at the Food Tank Summit. We thank you so much for watching this. It's very important. Tell your friends. Go out there, and maybe you go to the Mike Novak Show on Facebook and give it a like.
To Mike.
Thank you for raising the clamor. Yes, outrage. Outrage. And Peggy's taking a photo. We've got to...
Thank you. Outrage and inspire.
See,
right.
we're multitasking here.
Exactly.
Folks. All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thanks.
Thank you.